guys, welcome back to the Market Interest, where we talk stocks, finance, and the markets. Today, I'm going to share my 3 top metaverse stocks that I own and I think that you guys should have on your radar. I reviewed about a dozen different metaverse stocks, and I think that these 3 companies really have a competitive advantage. So I believe they should be on your either buy list or on your radar. I encourage you to watch to the end of the video so you get my full analysis today of these 3 companies. And I'll go over different key numbers, recent news, and why I expect them to perform well in the upcoming year. So the first company I'm going to start off with today is the infamous Nvidia. Now, Nvidia is an awesome company. They have had some fantastic performance over the last year, up 62%. So far, year to date, we all know that tech has been, getting hit quite a bit. So they're down about 17.5%. Now, Nvidia is doing something a little different than all these other companies. What they're doing is they've created what they call an Omniverse. Their version of the Metaverse is going to be a really nice application for a lot of companies or artists to use multiple different programs or apps on their Omniverse. So they could have designers on there, architects, engineers, designing certain programs and, doing their artwork to it as well, all at the same time using different programs. Nvidia is calling this a suite of different tools to use in the metaverse that allows teams to collaborate and work with each other all at the same time. So what they can do is really simulate some complex operations, help businesses predict wear and tear on their equipment, and provide some massive savings to inspections and operations in the long term. Now, Nvidia has some pretty interesting concepts, and I think they're going to do well in the long term, but I wouldn't rush to dive into this company right away. Reason being, their price to earnings multiple is at just about 56 right now. With the multiple this high, I'm just not comfortable diving into it. I own them right now. I'm not considering selling them by any means. If you're a longer term investor, I have no problem, saying that this is a good company to own, for a longer period of time. But for somebody who's looking to trade or collect a quicker profit within the next, 2 to 5 months, this isn't the company I'm rushing to get into right now. I'd wait for a little bit more of a pullback before executing on any type of buys. Now for our number 2 meta stock, which is going to be Facebook or Meta Platforms. Facebook has really taken a beating this year. Over the past year, they're down about 19%, and year to date, they're down about 35%. But if you review the fundamentals of Facebook, you're going to see they are just a cash cow. They're raking in so much money that it's really hard to bet against the company. Also, if you take a look at their multiples, they're only trading at about an 18 times multiple, which compared to other stocks where they're trading at 30, 50, couple hundred, this looks like a pretty good deal considering it's a tech company and a growth-oriented stock. Now, Facebook's Metaverse, I picture more of like a social playground. They have a lot of ways where you can connect with people that you're already friends with or coworkers and do different activities with them or play different games. So I personally have one of their Oculus headsets, and I'll tell you what, it's awesome. It's sweet. You can play ping pong on it, and it's so realistic. Like, you can get the spin on the balls and everything. It's nuts. Now, I know that they want to break into the business world, which I think that's going to be a really big struggle. I think that's an uphill battle for them. Most people don't want to have their social networks tied to the business environment that they're working within. But Facebook is going to have a really big push to become more of a business platform where companies can use different apps or different programs and stay connected with So if people can still be distanced physically, but be close in the metaverse and still work productively, then that's something that Facebook thinks they can capitalize on and really help a company grow. I think it's a really interesting concept, but I don't think that they're going to be the leader within that race. I think there's other companies. The next metaverse stock ahead is probably going to be the one dominating the industry. But I do think that Meta and Facebook, Meta Platforms, is going to be a dominant player within the metaverse. They have the apps, they have the cash flow, they have the technology, and they're already building different things where people can take advantage of it. So Meta Platforms is a buy for me right now. I bought more of their stock just recently, and I consider it to be a good value, especially within the tech and the growth industry. I think that's a growth phase. It's a perfect company with a great multiple compared to others right now. This brings me to the number 1 metaverse stock, which is Microsoft. I think they are going to dominate the industry, at least for a period of time. Just think about it. They've got the business realm on lock, and they've got Xbox. Come on. Who's not going to love that? Just think of all the business lines that Microsoft has within just the business world and professional world alone. They've got Microsoft Teams, Excel, the cloud, Azure, LinkedIn. They've got a lot of different products right there, guys. And then you shift it over to something that's more entertaining, just the gaming industry. Xbox, Halo. They've recently purchased Activision, Call of Duty. So they're going to have a lot more opportunities to reach a broader amount of people. Facebook, they've got a large subscriber base, but when you jump onto their games, they seem to be more like kid games when you're playing them. Where Microsoft, I think, is focused much more on the business world, and they have a really good niche within the gaming industry as well. So the business world itself, that seems like it's going to be the prime factor for all these metaverse stocks as they're competing. But Microsoft, they've got the biggest net within that ocean right now. So let's just take a look at the year-over-year growth that they've had in a few different areas. Their gross profit has been increasing since 2017 and substantially. Like, these are double-digit growth. And then if you scroll down, their operating income, again, since 2017, double digits here. 22%, 23%, 30%. That's growth year over year. So they are snowballing at this point. Just seeing the amount of growth that's happening right there, it made me question, where is the money coming from? Where are they getting all the revenue from? Is it just their products? Is it their services, subscriptions? So if we take a look at their financial statements, income statement, 2021, and we look at where they're getting the revenue from, and we have about 20 billion that's coming from their products and another 31 coming from their services and other. So, 40% coming from their products, that's a good chunk of change. And even more coming from their services, which is interesting. So they have something that's sustainable, something where people are subscribing and continuing to pay for that year over year, but then they're also getting the nice little pop with 40% of their revenue coming from different products. In order for them to just implement a couple, small changes or some evolving factors to their products or services and just start to introduce their clientele more to the metaverse, it's not going to take a lot of work. It's going to be small little steps here and there, or improvements. What's going to seem like a major improvement to a service that's then introducing them into the metaverse. And I think that's where Microsoft is really going to have a big advantage among any of the other competitors. They have such a wide net cast within the business world, people using their products and services every day. So those are the three metaverse stocks that I see as of right now being, top prime, right on the buy list, at least for me. Microsoft number one. That company, you could buy them today and be happy with them in the long term. You can try and trade them. I think that they are going to have a lot of success this year. They've got multiple products continuing to be released and improvements. They've got a subscription model. They're really heavy in cash flow. So they're going to be solid there. Nvidia, I think that they are a hold right now. Again, I wouldn't sell the stock if you own it. I wouldn't rush to buy more of it. I'd probably wait for a little bit more of a pullback before jumping into that stock. And then Meta Platforms, Facebook, I think it's a good buy right now. Again, it's not the bottom. I don't think the bottom, but I think it's really close to it. I think we're hovering right around that area. So purchasing right now, I think wouldn't be a bad idea as long as you guys can stomach that risk. So each of these stocks and companies are going to have different risk factors. So you want to talk to somebody before just rushing out and purchasing them. You have to be comfortable with the amount of risk that's associated with them, maybe the volatility. So if you're comfortable with it, go for it. Do your research, do your due diligence prior to. If you want any assistance in terms of figuring out, hey, is this the right stock for you? Is it right for your portfolio? Feel free to reach out to me. I got a link in the description down below. Be more than happy to help out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next week.